So the next is about the Japanese bridal makeup. Uh, that's special name called Paes. And Paes is an important element when the bride or the groom come from Java. And there are several mandatory accessories in Japanese bridal makeup of Paes, but not all Paes use this one. And the first is rerenggengan. Is not only to beautify but has its own philosophy. Rerenggengan is a curve that has a prayer in every curve by the bride. And the second is penunggul or gajahan, a circle shape like the tip of an egg. And the third is pengapit, the indentation that is on the right and left of penunggul. And the fourth is penitis, is placed right and left next to pengapit. Penitis in the form of leather, which means that the bride or the groom must be ready to carry out domestic life according to the target. And the fifth is godek, the curve that beautifies the shape of pinggir dari sanggul. And the sixth is cita, a diamond-shaped decoration that functions to beautify a paes, means that bride must focus on being loyal to their families as wife and mother. And the seventh is cunduk mentul, which is installed facing the back, with the philosophy or meaning the bride is beautiful front and back using cunduk mentul. The total use must be an odd number, such as number or using 3 cunduk mentul, which mean is Trimurti, 5 cunduk mentul, which mean Rukun Islam, and 7 cunduk mentul, which mean Pitulungan, and 9 cunduk mentul, which mean as Wali Songo. And the 8 is Gunungan, which is shaped like a hill, has the meaning that the bride is an honorable being who must be respected by her husband. And the 9 is centung, is a headdress that must be numbered in 2, placed left and right to symbolize that shape of the gate, means that the bride opens the gate, is ready to start a new life. And the 10 is sumping. Accessories are earrings that are attached to the right and left ears in the form of a papaya, meaning that even though papaya is bitter, women must be ready to be strong and not be swayed by problems in married life. And last not least, the next accessories is kalung sungsun with a three-tiered arrangement. The meaning of each level is the phases of life that women will go through, namely birth, marriage, and death. There are 4 kinds of Javanese paes which are famous for bridal makeup, namely Paes Agung Yogyakarta, Paes Yogya Putri, Paes Solo Basahan, and Paes Solo Putri. However, the most dominant use of paes in Javanese bridal makeup is using Paes Solo Putri. Paes Solo Putri, shaped more round, the use of plain black without the addition of prada or golden light. The sanggul in this model is made with a large ukel like a bokor mengkurep, and then insert ronce jasmine on the back of sanggul that goes down to the waist and is called tipododo. To beautify the appearance, there are head accessories in the form of piece of cunduk jungkat and 7 piece or 9 piece of cunduk mentul. The last model of paes but not least is the modern paes, use modification of hijab, because nowadays bridal are Muslim still wants to use about paes but without pidi and use of the cunduk mentul in hijab.
The myth of marriage according to Javanese cultures. First, prohibition of marriage between the first child and the third child, or it is called as siji karo telu marriage. The myth is that if the first child and the third child marry, the household will find it difficult to get along and often get into trouble. This, according to traditional Javanese myths, the difference in character, which is usually quite far between the first and third child, can make marriage difficult to last long. Second, prohibition of first child married with first child. Not only siji karo telu marriage, but there is also a ban on marriage between the first child and the first child. In addition, it is also needs to be avoided if one of their parents is the first child in the family. So if it is arranged into the numbers 111 or siji jajar telu, which is said to be believed to make your marriage unhappy, if this marriage continues, some people believe that this marriage will bring bad luck and disaster. Third, the month of Suro or Muharram is the month that is avoided to hold a wedding. It is said that this month, Nyai Roro Kidul, who is believed as a mystical queen of South Ocean, holds a celebration so that people are prohibited from holding another parties to avoid the bad luck. Fourth, prohibition of marrying partner whose house is only 5 steps away or opposite. The reason is according to Javanese beliefs, if the marriage is still held and against this one prohibition, the household will experience shortages and be unhappy. Fifth, the calculation of matchmaking using weton. In Javanese culture, weton is used to determine the compatibility of a partner. You can do the weton calculation by looking at the day, year, and the date of each birth. If it is suitable, then this indicates that your household in the future will be given smoothness, convenience, and harmonious. On the contrary, if the couple's weton does not match, the marriage will surely be hit by problems and disharmony. Sixth and the last, couple house is close to brother-in-law's house. According to Javanese cultures, that also needs to be considered if the couple's house which is close to the in-law's house. If your partner's house is close to in-your-law's house, it is said that one of your parents can die